There's a line in the Bible that most people have read for centuries and still missed what it's really doing. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Most people take that as a nice spiritual quote, something you read to feel calm on a Sunday morning. But there's more under the surface. That line isn't only about faith and inner peace. It's pointing to a way of living that changes your choices and can change how things start working out in your life, including your money. Because there's a kind of stillness that isn't just not talking. It's stillness inside. It's when you stop fighting life, stop beating yourself up, stop trying to force everything in panic mode. And when you change on the inside, the way you act changes. And when the way you act changes, your results change too. The problem is, modern life trained us to do the opposite. We're trained to run non-stop, to answer instantly, to explain ourselves too much, to prove ourselves, to stay visible. Like if you don't make noise, you don't exist. And that's why so many people are exhausted, anxious, always switched on, and still feel stuck. When you're constantly rushing, talking too much, trying to convince everyone, trying to carry everything alone, you're sending a signal without even noticing. A signal of pressure, of fear, of "I don't have enough." It's like your mind is repeating all day, "This won't work. I'm behind. I have to fix this right now. I don't have enough." And that scrambles everything. You start making choices on impulse. You take bad deals just so you won't be left with nothing. You jump into things you don't understand. You burn energy trying to please people, trying to prove something, trying to hold on to what isn't even meant for you. And then you pay for it later, because decisions made in panic almost always come with interest. But there's another way, and it starts in the place most people avoid: stillness. Stillness isn't weakness. Stillness is strength. Stillness is where you get put back together on the inside. It's where you stop reacting to everything and start seeing clearly. It's where you stop being defensive all the time and start learning again. When you get quiet, you hear more. And when you hear more, you notice things you used to miss. You spot patterns. You read people better. You see problems coming before they explode. You recognize good opportunities before they become obvious. And then you decide better. Better decisions change everything: your work, your relationships, your money, your life. Look at nature. A tree doesn't grow because it's constantly moving, constantly trying harder, constantly forcing growth. A tree grows because it's rooted. It stays in place. It doesn't chase water. It doesn't yell at the sun. It just stands there. And in time, what it needs shows up. And it grows. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. Your financial life works more like that than you think. Real stability doesn't come only from hustle. It comes from doing the right things at the right time. It comes from thinking better, choosing better. And that doesn't come from panic. It comes from turning the volume down inside. Here's something almost nobody notices. When you're truly quiet, you start seeing traps before you fall into them. You know those too good to be true offers, those rushed invitations, those deals that pressure you to decide right now. That's usually bait. An anxious person bites faster because they want a shortcut, a one-step solution to fix everything. Stillness protects you in a simple way. It gives you time. And time is often the difference between a smart move and an expensive mistake. And here's another truth. Real opportunities don't usually show up loud. They show up quietly. They show up in a conversation you almost ignore, in an idea that hits you in the shower, in a small detail that makes you pause and think, "Wait, there's something here." But if your mind is full of noise, you walk right past it. You don't connect the dots. And later you say, nothing ever works out for me. It was working out. You just couldn't hear it. And the weird part is this. When you stop chasing everything, people actually respect you more. Because desperation has a scent. Neediness shows up in your voice, your texts, your decisions, what you tolerate. And that pushes away clients, partnerships, and support. But when you're calmer, you negotiate better. You say no without guilt. You choose where your time goes. And in the end, that changes what you earn. Now think about a hunter. A hunter doesn't walk into the forest shouting. He goes quiet. He watches. He waits. He learns how things move. And when the right moment shows up, he acts fast and precisely. Not because he ran all day, but because he knew when to stop and when to move. That's where most people get it wrong. They think life moves forward only if they're doing something every second. But the secret isn't doing more. The secret is noticing more. Because the best opportunities don't always come with fireworks. Sometimes they come as a simple conversation, a random idea, a small insight you only get when your mind isn't screaming. There's a strange paradox. The harder someone tries to get rich in panic mode, the more money seems to run away. The more they chase, the more it escapes. The more they force, the more it locks up. It's like swimming against a current. You burn yourself out and don't move. But when you stop fighting and understand the flow, things start to click. And let's be clear, this isn't do nothing and wait for money to fall from the sky. It's something else. It's stopping the frantic moves, stopping decisions made from fear, and starting to move with calm and clarity. That's why people who build a solid life don't spend all day trying to be seen. They don't try to win by being the loudest. They have something that looks simple, but is rare. They know how to stop. They know how to rest. They know how to think. That isn't laziness. That's intelligence. Think about an athlete. An athlete doesn't train 24 hours a day. They train hard, then they recover. Because they know the body improves during rest. The mind works the same way. When you rest, you process. You connect ideas. You see solutions. It's the same with you. You don't have to live at full speed all the time. You need focused effort and guilt-free rest. You need to act when it's clear and wait when it's not. That's maturity. That's self-control. That's strength. And that's when Psalm 46:10 starts to hit differently. Be still. Stop. Turn the volume down. Step out of constant urgency. And know. Because there are things you only understand when you stop. Answers that don't show up when you're panicking. Direction that doesn't come through shouting. It comes through quiet. The Bible shows this in a really clear story too. In 1 Kings 19, Elijah wanted to hear God. There was a powerful wind, an earthquake, a fire, but God wasn't in any of that. Then came a gentle whisper, and that's where he heard. That's modern life in one picture. So many notifications, opinions, comparisons, and pressure that the direction you need gets drowned out. Because it doesn't yell, it whispers. When you create a little space, you start hearing better. You start noticing what you used to ignore. And suddenly you realize, I was doing that out of fear. Or, that idea is actually good. Or, I need to stop forcing this. That can save you from big mistakes. It can save your time. It can save your money. And there's more. When you enter real stillness, your mind changes. You stop living in constant alert mode and you become steadier. And then ideas show up. Solutions show up. A path opens up. Not because the world changed, but because you got calm enough to see. So how do you start without making it complicated? Here's a simple, practical path. First, admit you don't have to carry everything alone. You can call it God, life, whatever makes sense to you. The point is, stop acting like everything depends on your panic. Second, get clear about what you want. Don't just say, I want more money. Be specific. For example, I want to build a monthly income of $10,000 doing work I'm proud of that helps people. When you know what you want, you stop saying yes to anything. Third, set aside a daily quiet time. It can be 15 minutes. No phone, no music, no videos. Just you. Sitting or walking, it doesn't matter. What matters is doing it every day. Fourth, pay attention to what comes up. Don't force anything. Just notice. And when an idea, a reminder, or a clear thought comes, write it down. Sometimes one thought from quiet is worth more than a whole week of frantic effort. Fifth, do your part. Stillness without action becomes avoidance. So take what became clear and do what needs to be done. A decision, a call, an adjustment, a boundary, a plan, a real step. If you do this consistently, you'll notice a shift. You'll stop living on impulse and start living with direction. You'll stop moving from fear and start moving from clarity. And that changes results. It changes money. It changes life. So let me ask you, are you willing to be still? Are you willing to turn the volume down inside, even for a few minutes, so you can hear what might put you on the right path? If this connected with you, type a simple line in the comments. I'm ready to rest and trust. Or, I'm ready to move with calm and clarity. Because when you write it, you're marking a decision. And if you want more messages like this, subscribe and turn on notifications. Not for me, for you. Because sometimes you don't need more force. You need more stillness. And in the stillness, you'll know.